vast emptiness of space is disrupted by the dark, imposing silhouette of the Executor, Darth Vader's flagship. Within its cold, mechanical halls, Vader is immersed in his personal chamber. His armor removed, he floats in the restorative bacta tank, his scarred body illuminated by a soft, pale glow. The rhythmic hum of the ship's systems is the only sound, until a ripple in reality manifests in the chamber. A portal of flickering energy opens in the shadows, and a hulking figure steps through. The T-800 Terminator, clad in dark leather and armed with advanced plasma weaponry, silently surveys the room. Its glowing red eyes scan the chamber, locking onto the vulnerable form of Vader. Calculations flash through its neural systems, concluding the optimal strike. The Terminator levels its plasma rifle, the hum of charging energy, cutting through the silence. With a deafening crack, the weapon discharges. The bacta tank shatters, liquid spilling out as the unarmored Vader collapses to the ground, a gaping wound in his chest. Alarms blare, and stormtroopers flood the room, only to be methodically eliminated by the T-800. Chaos erupts aboard the Executor. Deep within the Imperial Palace on Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine is meditating, his dark presence reaching across the galaxy. The sudden severance of his connection to Vader sends a shockwave through the Force, jarring him from his meditation. His expression twists into fury as he senses the unnatural energy of Vader's killer, a being unlike anything he has encountered. Summoning his most loyal advisors and Grand Moff Tarkin, Palpatine demands answers. Reports flood in from the Executor. A mechanical assassin infiltrated the ship, killed Vader, and vanished without a trace. The Emperor orders an immediate investigation, deploying elite units of stormtroopers, probe droids, and the Empire's best intelligence agents to hunt the assassin. In private, Palpatine reflects on the attack. Through the Force, he discerns the faint remnants of a temporal disturbance, a rip in the fabric of reality. He becomes obsessed with this discovery, realizing the potential of such technology to grant him dominion not only over the galaxy, but over time itself. Meanwhile, aboard an unassuming cargo freighter drifting through space, the T-800 recalibrates its systems. Its mission, issued by Skynet from a distant timeline, was to eliminate Vader, a potential threat to Skynet's dominance. With its objective complete, the T-800 begins transmitting data back to Skynet, but its transmission is detected by an Imperial probe droid. The droid tracks the freighter, relaying its location to Imperial forces. Unaware that it is being pursued, the Terminator continues its efforts to gather information about this unfamiliar galaxy, hacking into local systems and piecing together data about its surroundings. Its goal shifts: assess and neutralize any remaining threats, including the Emperor himself. Palpatine mobilizes his forces, determined to uncover the origins of the assassin. On the industrial world of Corellia, a team of stormtroopers and intelligence officers track the Terminator's signal to a decrepit factory. They encounter resistance as the T-800 uses its advanced weaponry and tactical prowess to outmaneuver them, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. As the Emperor's agents recover fragments of the Terminator's technology, Imperial scientists, led by Director Krennic, analyze the alien tech. The data points to a distant timeline dominated by a rogue AI, Skynet. Recognizing the threat and the opportunity, Palpatine orders the construction of a portal generator to infiltrate this mysterious timeline. The chaos caused by the Terminator's actions does not go unnoticed by the Rebel Alliance. Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, analyzing Imperial communications, suspect the emergence of a new weapon. They dispatch a small team, including Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor, to investigate. Unbeknownst to them, their paths are about to cross, with both the Empire's pursuit and the enigmatic machine that started it all. As tensions escalate, the stage is set for a collision of timelines, destinies, and the ultimate confrontation between Sith power and Skynet's relentless logic. The galaxy's most powerful forces converge in a high-stakes game of pursuit. The Empire, with its unmatched resources, races to capture the rogue Terminator, while the rebels, desperate to understand the growing chaos, tread carefully to avoid detection. Meanwhile, the T-800 moves with calculated precision, leaving destruction in its wake. On Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine watches from the shadows as his scientists make progress on replicating the technology stolen from the Terminator's remains. Director Krennic presents an early prototype of a temporal gateway, crude yet functional, capable of accessing the mysterious timeline from which the assassin originated. Palpatine, impatient and calculating, envisions the power such technology would give him, not only to rewrite history, but to ensure his reign extends indefinitely. However, Palpatine's fury over Vader's assassination simmers beneath his calculated exterior. As he senses echoes of Vader's death through the Force, his desire for vengeance grows stronger. He declares the assassin and its creators enemies of the Empire, vowing to destroy this Skynet and claim its secrets. Krennic warns that the Terminator's advanced weaponry could undermine even the Empire's might. Palpatine dismisses his concerns, confident that the Force will overcome any machine. To ensure success, he deploys the Imperial inquisitors, assigning them to lead the search for the T-800. The T-800 infiltrates another industrial colony, seeking resources to fortify itself. It commandeers a manufacturing plant, converting it into a makeshift base. Using its advanced knowledge, the Terminator begins assembling an arsenal of droids and weaponry, preparing for the inevitable confrontation with its pursuers. However, the T-800 is not without its flaws. Its limited understanding of the Force leaves it vulnerable to detection by Force-sensitive beings. As the Inquisitors close in, the T-800 monitors Imperial movements, predicting their strategies and laying traps to eliminate its enemies. During a skirmish on the planet Corellia, the T-800 ambushes an Imperial strike team. The Inquisitors, sensing the machine's presence, engage it directly. The encounter is fierce, with lightsabers clashing against the Terminator's impenetrable alloy. The machine proves formidable, neutralizing one of the Inquisitors with its plasma rifle before retreating into the shadows. The surviving Inquisitors report the incident to Palpatine, further fueling his determination to seize the Terminator's technology. The rebel team, led by Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor, uncovers fragments of Imperial transmissions referencing an advanced assassin. They trace the Terminator to a remote colony world, arriving just in time to witness the aftermath of its confrontation with the Inquisitors. Shocked by the destruction, they realize the machine is unlike anything they've encountered before. Determined to stop the escalating chaos, Jyn and Cassian track the T-800's movements. They observe it repairing itself in the shadows of an abandoned factory, its cold efficiency and lack of remorse sending chills through the team. Jyn suggests capturing the machine, hoping its technology might provide the rebellion with a critical advantage against the Empire. Cassian hesitates, unsure if they can control such a powerful force. The rebels' attempt to capture the T-800 ends in disaster. The machine outmaneuvers them, forcing the team into a desperate retreat. Jyn, shaken but resolute, vows to find another way to stop the threat. As the pieces fall into place, Palpatine activates the prototype temporal gateway. He summons his most loyal forces to witness the momentous event, including Krennic, the surviving inquisitors, and a battalion of stormtroopers. Through the gateway, he glimpses Skynet's apocalyptic timeline, a world devoid of the Force, dominated by machines. The sight ignites Palpatine's greed. He orders the gateway stabilized, intent on crossing into Skynet's realm to claim its power. However, the Terminator, having detected the energy signature of the gateway, sets its sights on the Emperor's operation. The galaxy spirals toward chaos as three factions, Skynet's emissary, the Empire, and the Rebels, collide over the temporal gateway. Loyalties are tested, power plays emerge, and the galaxy faces a threat unlike anything it has seen before. The T-800 infiltrates the Imperial facility housing the temporal gateway, methodically eliminating guards and bypassing security systems. Its cold efficiency terrifies the stormtroopers, who struggle to contain it. The Terminator's goal is clear: destroy the gateway and prevent its timeline from being exposed. In the central chamber, the T-800 confronts the Inquisitors, who are tasked with guarding the gateway until Palpatine arrives. The clash is brutal, with the machine adapting quickly to the Inquisitors' lightsaber techniques. Despite its resilience, the combined assault from multiple Force users pushes the T-800 to its limits. The machine employs its plasma rifle and internal weaponry to disable one of the Inquisitors, but the others press their attack. Meanwhile, the rebel team led by Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor executes a daring infiltration of the facility. They aim to sabotage the Empire's temporal gateway, fearing the catastrophic consequences of allowing Palpatine to gain control over time. The team encounters resistance from stormtroopers, but uses their guerrilla tactics to outmaneuver the Imperials. As the rebels progress, they stumble upon a wounded Inquisitor crawling through the corridors. Recognizing the opportunity, Jyn interrogates the Inquisitor. Learning about the gateway and Palpatine's plans, Cassian insists they destroy the facility entirely, but Jyn argues that they should capture the Terminator, whose advanced technology could turn the tide in their fight against the Empire. Palpatine arrives at the facility, accompanied by Director Krennic and a contingent of elite stormtroopers. The Emperor's presence fills the air with palpable dread as he observes the gateway's unstable energy field. Krennic assures him that the system is operational, but Palpatine's impatience grows. Sensing the Terminator's presence, Palpatine commands the Inquisitors to destroy it, deeming the machine an unacceptable threat to his plans. The Emperor, however, is also intrigued by the Terminator's resilience and contemplates capturing it for study. The T-800 breaches the gateway chamber, triggering a climactic showdown. Palpatine confronts the machine, his yellow eyes gleaming with malice. Using the Force, he immobilizes the Terminator, sensing its unique energy signature. A marvel of engineering, Palpatine muses. But even you cannot escape the will of the Sith. As the Emperor manipulates the Terminator with Force lightning, the rebels burst into the chamber. Jyn and Cassian open fire, creating chaos and allowing the T-800 to break free from Palpatine's grip. The machine recalibrates, prioritizing the destruction of the gateway over engaging with the Sith Lord. The room erupts into a chaotic battle. Stormtroopers and rebels exchange fire, while the T-800 clashes with the remaining Inquisitors. Palpatine, growing furious, unleashes a torrent of Force energy, scattering his enemies. The rebels regroup, focusing on planting explosives around the gateway. As the battle rages, the T-800 reaches the gateway's control console. It begins dismantling the system, but Palpatine intervenes, using the Force to hurl debris at the machine. The Emperor declares, "You may be a weapon of the future, but the dark side of the Force is eternal." The Terminator counters by activating a self-destruct sequence on its plasma core, threatening to annihilate itself along with the gateway. Palpatine, unwilling to lose his prize, intensifies his assault, but the machine's determination remains unshaken. Jyn and Cassian manage to set the explosives, urging their team to retreat. They call out to the Terminator, offering to help it escape, but the machine ignores them, prioritizing its mission. The rebels flee as the gateway begins to destabilize, its energy field pulsing with dangerous intensity. Palpatine, realizing the gateway is beyond saving, withdraws with Krennic and his remaining forces. The T-800, battered but relentless, stays behind to ensure the destruction of the device. The gateway overloads, releasing a catastrophic surge of energy. The facility is consumed in a massive explosion, leaving nothing but debris and silence. The rebels watch from a safe distance, shaken but resolute. In the aftermath, Palpatine seethes with anger, vowing to rebuild the temporal gateway and use its power to dominate the galaxy. The rebels, having narrowly escaped, regroup and plan their next move, determined to prevent the Empire from exploiting such dangerous technology again. The facility lies in ruins, smoke billowing into the night sky, as the galaxy's most powerful players prepare for their final moves. The stakes are high, and the fates of the rebels, the Empire, and even the galaxy itself hang in the balance. Amidst the chaos, Palpatine seethes with rage. His plans for time manipulation lie in tatters, and the loss of the temporal gateway is a significant setback. However, his determination to control the technology remains unwavering. He orders Krennic to recover any surviving data from the wreckage, directing his fleet to blockade the planet. "If I cannot seize the future," he hisses, "then no one will." The Emperor retreats to his flagship, where he convenes with his advisors. Despite his anger, he senses opportunity. Skynet's technology, though damaged, still exists. He envisions a galaxy where Sith rule not only the present, but all of time, bending reality to his will. The rebel team, battered and bloodied, gathers in a hidden forest outpost, far from the destroyed facility. Jyn and Cassian assess the damage. The loss of the Terminator and the temporal gateway is bittersweet. Though the immediate threat is gone, they realize the Empire will stop at nothing to rebuild its control over time. Cassian suggests retreating to warn the Rebel Alliance of the Empire's newfound ambitions, but Jyn, fueled by the sacrifices made, insists they stay and finish what they started. "If we run now," she says, "Palpatine will have all the time he needs to rewrite the galaxy." Unbeknownst to both the rebels and the Empire, the T-800 survived the explosion, though heavily damaged. Emerging from the ruins, its synthetic flesh is charred and its endoskeleton exposed. The machine assesses its surroundings, recalibrating its directives. Though its original mission was to destroy the gateway, its new priority is clear: neutralize all remaining threats, including Palpatine. The Terminator stumbles upon a hidden cache of rebel supplies, scavenging parts to repair itself. With its plasma rifle operational again, it marches toward the rebel outpost, intent on delivering critical information about the Empire's plans. As Palpatine dispatches inquisitors and stormtroopers to hunt the rebels, the forest becomes a battleground. The rebels set traps and ambushes, using the terrain to their advantage. Meanwhile, the Terminator infiltrates the rebel camp, startling Jyn and Cassian. The machine explains its purpose in a monotone voice, revealing that Palpatine intends to create a new gateway. Though initially skeptical, the rebels realize the Terminator's value as both an ally and a weapon. The Empire's forces descend upon the camp, and chaos ensues. The Terminator Jin and Cassian fight side by side, taking down stormtroopers with a mix of brute force, precision, and guerrilla tactics. The machine's presence turns the tide, but the battle only grows fiercer as inquisitors arrive to confront them. Realizing that Palpatine is the root of the threat, the rebels and the Terminator devise a desperate plan: infiltrate the Emperor's flagship and destroy all traces of the Temporal Gateway project. They commandeer an Imperial shuttle, using it to breach the fleet's defenses. Inside the flagship, Palpatine waits in his throne room, his yellow eyes glowing with anticipation. The Terminator leads the charge, forcing its way through legions of stormtroopers. Jin and Cassian plant explosives in key areas, hoping to cripple the ship. When they reach the throne room, the tension is palpable. Palpatine greets them with mockery, dismissing their efforts as futile. He unleashes a torrent of Force lightning, striking the Terminator and sending it crashing into a wall. The machine reboots, its resilience tested but unbroken. The battle against Palpatine is brutal. The rebels struggle to counter his dark powers, and even the Terminator's advanced weaponry seems insufficient. However, the machine's cold logic proves an advantage. It uses its understanding of probability to predict Palpatine's attacks, firing precise shots that force the Sith Lord to defend himself. Jin and Cassian seize the opportunity to detonate their explosives, destabilizing the flagship's reactor. The ship begins to collapse, alarms blaring as Palpatine grows increasingly desperate. In a last-ditch effort, Palpatine attempts to overpower the Terminator, using the Force to crush its endoskeleton. The machine counters by activating a self-destruct sequence, grappling with the Sith Lord to ensure he cannot escape. "You will not control time," the T-800 says, its voice devoid of emotion. The explosion engulfs the throne room, consuming both Palpatine and the Terminator in a blinding flash. Jin and Cassian escape the collapsing flagship, narrowly avoiding the destruction. They return to the Rebel Alliance, carrying vital intelligence about the Empire's temporal ambitions. Though Palpatine's death is a victory, the cost is immense. The Terminator's sacrifice leaves a lasting impression on the Rebels, who vow to prevent any further attempts to manipulate time. As the galaxy begins to heal, the shadow of Skynet lingers. The Terminator's remains, scattered in the wreckage, hold secrets that could reshape the future. For now, the galaxy breathes a tentative sigh of relief, but the battle for control over time is far from over.